Vanakkam Swarajya readers and viewers. Our guest today does not need any introduction. He is the youngest BJP state president in the history of Tamil Nadu BJP and very efficient ex-IAPS officer. Sri Annamalais has actually started a new charter in the history of Tamil Nadu politics. So today we are going to have a detailed interview with him about the various issues and various views that he has on different subjects. Vanakkam.
Vanakkam, sir.
The first question shall be about I think today, 28/5/2022, evening you are having a demonstration by journalists at your party office. So in all your press interviews, in all your press briefings, you have actually started a new method where you give a very detailed data, a detailed picture of the problems, and after that you always give some real punches to a significant section of journalists, not all. What is it that you find as a systemic problem with this significant section of journalists, media in Tamil Nadu?
Sir, our constitution is very special because nowhere in the constitution there is a word called press. Nowhere in the constitution. Nowhere in the constitution there is a word called media. Nowhere in the constitution there is a word called newspaper. A press gets the freedom from the same article, same fundamental right, which gives the same freedom to a common man. The same freedom a press gets. But over a point of time in our democracy, we keep our press in very high esteem. Subsequently, all the leaders from 1947, subsequent years, we did it because we always felt the fourth pillar of democracy should act as an efficient check and balance for the remaining three pillars of democracy. Now, what has happened, sir? India, when compared to other countries, the nature of press has undergone a dramatic transformation, meaning the political parties have started owning press houses. Openly, at least in Tamil Nadu, when compared to other parts of India, the major political parties, they have a press. The major political parties use that media to propagate their ideology. The major political parties have their pointsmen as press person. So we all allow them in an interview, we all have a very sane conversation. But many a time what happens, sir, when that fine line, it's breached, the Lakshman Rekha is breached between supporting a particular party's ideology and acting as a neutral arbiter in a press conference, that is where this kind of issues happen. This is the first problem I see, sir. The second problem I see is the way the press is run. It's a very competitive media space in Tamil Nadu. I don't think any press makes some money. It's so competitive. So, lot of television channels 24/7. So, what happened? The quality of press people is the second problem. When press makes money, when you have a revenue going, probably you can start hiring better people who understand the nuances of politics, economics before asking a question. Nowadays, many a times I see they just have in a press conference, they take a cell phone. They keep asking their editor what is the next question they should ask. Based on our answer, somebody in the Chennai office would be guiding them. The second problem, meaning the knowledge is a problem. To have a quality conversation with a like-minded person who is also able to give his knowledge to a question, I am not seeing it in Tamil Nadu in a major way, sir. The third is the preconceived bias for BJP party. A lot of press, when they sit, even in their own Twitter profile, if you see, they say Dravidian stock, a pride Tamilian, which we all also are. At the same time, some of this, they say, against Sanghi. This is the kind of Twitter bio line they write, Facebook bio line they write. But they come and sit as a neutral arbiter, they ask a question. So these three are the systemic problems I see, sir.
So your response to this has been that you are giving, almost you are taking a lesson in economics or whether it is politics or history, you are taking a lesson. So you are basically enlightening the press, which you find actually lacking in them, right?
Sir, I actually did not want to do that initially. In my initial 2 months of press conferences, whenever we talk with press, I found when they ask me a question, I give them a straight answer. Maybe it's a 1-minute answer. Then I found the question itself is biased. So whatever answer I say, it is not reaching properly in the press. Or probably it is not getting propagated properly to the down below. Then I felt, okay, let me do this way. Let me take up an issue, talk about the history of that issue, the current status, what brief for 20-25 minutes. Then let me allow the press to ask a question. I thought this is a better way because the public who is seeing, he is not affected by the preconceived mindset with which the question is asked. So I shifted this in the last 6-7 months, sir, because I felt the first one of a straightforward question and answer is not working in Tamil Nadu.
Now, when talking about Tamil Nadu and talking about the kind of politics that BJP has been doing throughout India, it is a politics that combines Vihas and Hindutva. Both are combined together and it is they have created a package and they are giving it. In the case of Tamil Nadu, compared to many of the states in India, Tamil Nadu is actually more developed. So, in such a situation, what is the kind of development that you are talking about with respect to Tamil Nadu? In the context of Tamil Nadu, what is the kind of development you are talking about?
So, the development is something which a common man easily understands, sir. But if you look at Tamil Nadu, one for one is a very skewed developed state. This is something which the data is hiding and the politicians are not talking. As we speak now, the state of Tamil Nadu has got two districts, Virudhunagar and Ramanathapuram, which are called the aspirational districts among the 112 districts in India. There are two districts among the 112. There are 7 states in India like Tamil Nadu which has got 2 districts in the aspirational district program. So there is a very skewed development in the southern part of Tamil Nadu. Whenever we go, we see. If I enter into Theni and probably the outskirts of Madurai, again we see a skewed development model. We see a skewed development model that is applicable for all the socio-economic indicators. But we are right now, we are sitting in the Kongu region and Coimbatore. If you come here, this is slightly a more developed area. Probably people say it contributes about 57% of Tamil Nadu's state GDP from this part. So one we have to understand, sir, the development of Tamil Nadu, Virudhunagar needs to be more developed, Ramanathapuram, Theni. We can talk about examples of the southern part of Tamil Nadu which needs that push. Many districts in the southern part of Tamil Nadu are as bad or as equal as some of the northern states' district indicators. This is something which the Dravidian model has conveniently masked, conveniently forgotten it, sir. The second, the next generation of development, sir. Now, when I entered Karnataka as a police officer, sir, the gap between Karnataka state gross domestic product and Tamil Nadu state domestic product was about 3 lakh crore. That was the net difference. Now, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka is only a 1.5 lakh crore gap. Meaning states are fast catching up. Tamil Nadu had that first mover advantage. Dams were built, roads were put, some kind of a social justice model was brought in 60, 70 and 80. So it had that first mover advantage. The BJP ideally came into Tamil Nadu in 1983. That is the first time the BJP entered. So what has happened? Tamil Nadu had that early cushion to travel. Now, in the last 20 years, when an outsider talks about Tamil Nadu, the first thing that comes to his mind is the highest amount of corruption in developmental sector. 20%, 25% is a norm. So what has happened? The pace of development has slowed down. Second, Karnataka last year, 2021, 2022, that one financial year, it earned a FDI of 6 times more than Tamil Nadu. These are all record on it. Maharashtra has created a lot of other cities as growth engines, Pune. Other cities it is creating as growth engine. Karnataka is creating Mysore, Hubli. Very fast it is creating Belgaum. It is creating all other places in between, Mangalore. But Tamil Nadu is still Chennai centric or maybe Coimbatore centric a little bit. We are not creating other cities. It is all structure. So this development is not a proper holistic development. So BJP wants to get into the holistic development. Encourage the potential of each region. Remove corruption in the developmental sector. Make sure Tamil Nadu gets into 2.0 growth mode. Startups, Gurgaon is number 1, Bangalore is number 2. Tamil Nadu is competing with a city like Pune in terms of startup culture. When we say 41 unicorns have come into India, out of which Bangalore and Gurgaon have taken 38. The rest, Tamil Nadu, we have 1 or 2 companies which has got unicorns, sir. I am looking at 10 years from now. What is going to happen, sir? One, the manufacturing is slowing down. Services sector, other cities are picking up. Then how will we compare? Because the first mover advantage is slowly dying down. 10 years from now, Tamil Nadu would be in serious trouble unless this model of skewed development is shifted to Tamil Nadu 2.0 developmental model.
Okay. Now, you just told about holistic development. Usually, the argument from the other side is that in terms of, even if you are talking about industrialization in Gujarat and other states, in terms of human resource development, Tamil Nadu has achieved something. and it is because of the so-called Dravidian model. Now, what exactly in your view is this Dravidian model and what exactly has it achieved?
As we speak now, day before yesterday, Times of India was carrying a news report. It was titled The Status of Learning Outcome Across India. Now, I have mentioned this yesterday somewhere also, sir. The Tamil Nadu's learning outcome is one of the poorest across India. The survey just got out, the learning outcomes measured by the central government. The class 8, class 6, their learning outcome, only 7% of class 6, if I remember correctly, 12% of class 8, they have achieved the learning outcome that is supposed to be there for class 6 and class 8. Class 10 is slightly better, that is what the survey is. One, Tamil Nadu human resource development, whatever the model they are calling, it is slowing down. The Tamil Nadu government schools are becoming inefficient. It is not the same old school where some great teachers were there and the first choice was go to a government school. Simple example. In 10 years, the number of CBSE schools in Tamil Nadu have jumped from 200 to 1700. It's almost a 8% jump. Meaning the government model of education, people no more believe because the government is using that particular thing only for vote politics, not for increasing the learning outcome of student. This is the first one, sir. And we are not contributing the human resource that Tamil Nadu was contributing 50 years back. IAS officers, I will give you a simple example, it's a civil service. Tamil Nadu, which used to give at least 100 in every batch of civil servants, among a total of 800, Tamil Nadu is contributing 40 to 45 now. In the last 5 years, if you take the average, the civil servants, Tamil Nadu will be the highest. Now, Tamil Nadu is 3rd, 4th, 5th. We are no more seeing the toppers. In IIMs, no more. IIT is very less. So, this is an area of severe panic. Now, to hide everything, the DMK party, especially Mr. Stalin, he uses this word called Dravidian development model. Now, again, I think you are a better judge because I've read a lot of your analytical pieces on the Dravidian, that word Dravida and what it is. But now very clearly say, sir, what is it you call as a Dravidian developmental model? That is something which I'm really confused because MK Stalin ji, in the last 6 months when I see this, I will give you the occasions in which he has used the word. He went to an iftar party. He was having food with them. He said, this is what we called as Dravidian developmental model. He said, I don't know. Then one day, while talking to beneficiaries somewhere in the government benefit, he said, I'm very happy the beneficiaries are more in Tamil Nadu. This is what we call Dravidian developmental model. In the assembly, when somebody was asking a question about anything, for everything he was getting up and he was saying, this is what the Dravidian developmental model. I'm really confused, sir. I really don't have an answer till now. Maybe as a political leader, looking at his speech, looking at the argument he's trying to build, I am sure is not able to till now explicitly tell us what is the Dravidian developmental model. I really don't know. Maybe if I think Stalin is trying to convey a Dravidian development model is based on social justice, I don't agree that right now maybe 2022 Tamil Nadu will be the paragon of social justice. I don't agree to that viewpoint because if you look at the ministers who behave, if you look, social justice is not encouraging family politics anytime. Social justice is not encouraging your ministers to use caste names for offices. Social justice is not. But if they say, we have built a social justice, if you look at the NCRB crime database, the caste murders are one of the highest in Tamil Nadu, the caste murders. Maybe the Dravidian movement, one of the outcome of the Dravidian movement is making people to push, making people to get into silos of caste, which I believe is a very clear outcome of the Dravidian developmental model. And second, if again MK Stalin ji is saying the Dravidian developmental model is about equality, I don't think Tamil Nadu is a state for equality, which as we have spoken about 3 questions before, the skewed development. Not everybody gets the right opportunities, not everybody gets a heads up. If maybe MK Stalin ji is talking about the woman being respected in the state, it is no more now. The highest number of bodily crimes and woman-oriented crimes, again NCRB says Tamil Nadu is one of the highest, sir. I am till now confused what is this Dravidian developmental model. If you are calling me a Tamil Nadu-centric developmental model, then probably I am willing to have an argument on that. Yes, Tamil Nadu developmental model is always a combination of spirituality, always a combination of people entrepreneurship, always a combination of everybody sacrificing for the future generation. That is what we have seen in Kamaraj era. This is a very unique Tamil developmental model. But Dravidian developmental model, frankly speaking, I don't have an idea, sir. What is he talking?
one unique aspect of Tamil Nadu is that whenever you talk about development, whenever you bring a development project, there is a lot of protest politics. Whoever is in the opposition, they start protesting in the name of ecology, environment and all that kind of things. Now, when I look at the history of your own party, Bharatiya Janata Party, right from the times of Bharatiya Janasangh, Deen Dayal Upadhyaya, your party has always given some kind of focus to sustainable development. In fact, one of the earliest political parties to talk in terms of ecological ideology is Bharatiya Janasangh and now Bharatiya Janata Party. And today, Bharatiya Janata Party is accused in Tamil Nadu of destroying the natural resources, selling them to corporate companies, and they create a lot of this protest politics. Even something like a neutrino laboratory coming, it has been protested against. In such a situation, what is your plan for Tamil Nadu? When you become the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, or when your political party is going to become the ruling party of Tamil Nadu, what is going to be the development model that you are going to implement?
Today morning I was seeing a meme in my cell phone, sir. It was in Tamil, where a person was asking, where a DMK person was asking, please see, after you have come to power, nobody is doing protest for development, everybody is calm. For which the other person was replying, sir, it is your own allied people who are doing protest last government. Now they have joined your government, why will they do protest? This is the comical nature, sir. Sir, there is a misrepresentation when we see from outside that this movement, environment movement, neutrino against movement, they are doing protest. But actually, if you see one level deeper, they are all connected by a political ideology. They are all offshoots of primarily the DMK as a party, and where a lot of external funding also comes, be it the Kudangolam movement, be it a movement which started in the name of a particular month in Tamil, or be it certain professors and environmental activists who come and fight that to preserve Tamil Nadu ecology, I am fighting. But the very funny part, after Mr. M.K. Stalin became the Chief Minister, the first day all the protest groups were in his office giving him a bouquet and wishing him the best. So I would say it is not, those protests are fueled by people's anger, are fueled by people's opinion. It is all led by certain group of individuals, funded by external individuals. They try and create an artificial, maybe Maya from outside, as if it's a mass protest. It's a people-oriented protest, number one, sir. Sir, if you look at it, the Janasangha, the BJP, first time, our Upadhyaya ji, he gave a very clear-cut shift to the way the Indian economic history was shaping up. Nehru was slightly confused. He was looking at Russia as a model. He was looking at different models to experiment. He said, any economic model that doesn't put human as the center of its model, that model will inevitably fail. So BJP's model is always making sure the final human, the last person in the queue, he has to be the center of any economic policy that we design. That is how BJP's economic policy is throughout. Now, in a state like Tamil Nadu, when we have to have a 6-lane highway, maybe from Salem to 8-lane highway, Salem to Chennai, and now they all object. The Prime Minister, along with Stalin ji, the major project, the 13,000 crore project that he inaugurated is the Bangalore-Chennai Express Corridor Way, which is going to reduce the distance by 2.5 hours between Bangalore and Chennai, which is going to fuel a lot of side logistics park sectors, which is going to be connected to the large vision of a Gati Shakti that we are planning. Meaning you will have cold chain houses, you will have warehouses, you will have places where all the goods will be stored, efficient, faster movement. People say, sir, Americans were smarter because their logistic cost is only 6% of the total cost of a product. But in India, the logistic cost is 13% of the total cost of a product. The Gati Shakti, the aim is to bring it down to 4-5%. So naturally, India needs an infrastructure push like F.D. Roosevelt, or right after the World War, the American presidents have done for the US, or probably the Deng Xiaoping have done for China after 1980, the revolution that he brought in. So India needs that. That's a larger visionary model Modi is setting. But some projects we always have to take a small compromise, because when you build a Bangalore-Chennai Express Corridor way, naturally you have to take people's land. You have to occupy somebody's personal property, then you have to build it. That is something we as a society, we are making a collective decision of the cause and effect to do this. But the other projects are very strategic projects that will push India to the next realm. For example, the Neutrino Observatory. When all the scientists who are connected to the Neutrino Observatory, maybe the retired scientists, when they have written a joint letter to the Prime Minister, it should come to Tamil Nadu because Tamil Nadu is the ideal place to do it. A few environmental activists have objected only for political reasons, not for here. But they have to understand the kind of disservice they are doing to Tamil Nadu. The kind of disservice, the law, because not only you are going to build a Neutrino Observatory underground. As we speak now, the tunnel that is underground between the France, the Germany and the Switzerland, the tunnel which is getting deep into the Higgs boson theory, which is experimenting with the big boss theory there. That's a big tunnel, 65 kilometers, right under 3 countries. There the countries are deciding to collaborate to push the frontiers of science. Here, Mahakavi Bharatiyar, in all his poetry, what did he say, sir? I look forward to a day when the world will go up to the moon, will go there and come back. I look forward to a day when India equally celebrates Shankaracharya and India equally celebrates the atomic particle. Mahakavi Bharatiyar is extensively written. That is what we are doing, sir. You need science. You need a science-based developmental model. At the same time, you need to tighten the nuts and bolts of the Indian developmental sector to take it to the next generation, next evolution. This they misunderstand. Now, the same government wants the Salem-Chennai expressway. The same environmental activists are keeping quiet. So, what do we say, sir? So, BJP is very clear. For Tamil Nadu to go to the next level, you got to have n number of airports. Right now, Salem airport is non-functioning, though it has started. I don't think it is functioning well. Make better utility. But for Salem airport to be functional, you got to do other things to make it functional. What PM Modi ji has done? In Udan, he has given an airport. Now, if you are not able to create a lot of other sectors around Salem, how will the Udan airport be functional? You need a logistics park. You need a manufacturing hub. You got to plan for all the small cities in and around Tamil Nadu. Make sure they become engines of Tamil Nadu's economic growth, where airports, the ports, the railways all get connected seamlessly, the vision of Gati Shakti. That is BJP's vision. I look forward to a day when a BJP chief minister from our party, when he sits in the office, when people duly elect our government, I look forward to a day we don't compromise on our traditionality. We don't compromise on our ecology. At the same time, we don't compromise on Tamil Nadu's growth. Because our children 50 and 100 years down the line, they should not accuse us for not developing Tamil Nadu to the next level when easily we could have done so, sir.
Thank you. Now, coming to another one aspect of your politics. So far, the Sri Lankan Tamils have been used as a very good political tool in Tamil Nadu politics. Whether it is DMK or ADMK, both have used. Even Congress has also used them. For the first time, you are going there and you are taking a completely different approach to the entire problem. What is it that exactly prompted you to do this? And what is it that you see that is taking shape? And how you see this is going to affect or influence Tamil Nadu in the future?
So one thing I have seen, the way the Tamil media reports the Sri Lankan problem and way most of our Tamil intellectuals they discuss about Sri Lankan problem, I felt it is completely disconnected from what is happening there, number one. It is completely disconnected from what BJP as a party and Modi ji as a government is doing for Sri Lanka. When I looked at the data, I found it absolutely amazing, sir. A country, even if India might have a policy of taking care of our neighborhood first policy, but what India has done for Sri Lanka is unique in the history of human beings. It's unique across all country. Other places, people go like a rapacious capitalist, go occupy the resources, come out. That's what China is doing. China is present in all the African countries. They go there like a hungry country, take over all their resources and come out. But here we found it very interesting, sir. And India felt it has got a civilizational duty to take care of Sri Lanka.
Just 1 minute. When you are talking about this particular India, you are talking about India
of Modi ji.
Okay.
India of Modi ji, he believes India has got a civilizational duty to take care of Sri Lanka. I was very surprised, sir. When Modi ji was in Sri Lanka, he used a word called civilizational twin. India and Sri Lanka are civilizational twins. We are bounded by history. Because when I went to Nurelia, I went to the same place where Sita Mata was abducted, taken. She was confined to a forest, and Lord Hanuman went there and brought Sita Mata back. I went there, I went to the same forest. I was able to see the footprints of Hanuman which people worship there. We are bounded by history. Geographically, I don't think any other country in the world, in sea, we are as close as two countries there. Instead of seeing the gap, I also see the Ramar Palam, the Ramar footbridge that actually connects both our country. So this we should never forget, sir. That is what Modi ji is bringing to the equation. Before Modi ji, it was all about how can I use it strategically? How can I use it to counter the effect of this? They have all politicians thinking like that. Or more importantly, when Kachati was seated in 1974, Indira Gandhi was fully aware. She wanted Sri Lanka's support to build her political career. So Kachati was gifted to Sri Lankan Prime Minister then, simply because she wanted the Prime Minister to see Indira Gandhi as a big figure in UN. She wanted Sri Lanka to be in the UN to talk India as a big brother and to talk Madam Indira Gandhi as a big person. Only for that Kachati was seated, for which Kalangir Karunanidhi, when he was the Chief Minister of the state, he played a major role in gifting that. We have to understand, so it was all happening in that way. But Modi ji came, he completely changed the equation from using Sri Lanka to civilizational duty to Sri Lanka. That is why, sir, 60,000 houses now, 14,000 houses in the central province of Sri Lanka, which we call Malayaga Tamils, meaning the Tamils who have gone from India in the last 150 years. Then close to about 46,000 houses in the northern part and the eastern part of Sri Lanka. And sir, when all the Tamil politicians sitting here and talking about cultural renaissance of Sri Lanka, Modi ji has gone to Sri Lanka. He has gone to the same place where the Jaffna library was burned in 1983. He has built a Jaffna cultural center, 12 million American dollars, free of cost, free grant, gifted to Sri Lanka. When we go there, sir, we see, okay, our Prime Minister Modi ji is operating with a larger vision, is operating with a civilizational bondage. This is missing, sir. This is the narrative, or this is the truth I wanted to bring to Tamil politics. See, what are we doing? When 2009, when whatever has happened, you are all party to the crimes that happened. Modi ji has taken 8 years of his hard-earned political capital to make sure the Sri Lankan Tamils were very angry, sir, very angry. Especially the northern part of Sri Lankan Tamils were very angry over India after 2009 because they felt India had a direct complicit role in what has happened in those parts of Sri Lanka. It has taken 8 years of our effort inside. Our embassies in Colombo, our additional embassies in Jaffna, in Hambantota, in all different places. In Trikonmale, we have about 5 additional places. I was told about 40 Indian foreign service officers are operating in Sri Lanka, maybe the highest in India's history. So many people. Because he's giving the developmental push, giving that civilizational bondage. And we also have to understand, sir, the officer who is in Jaffna, the IFS officer, is a Tamil. The previous officer is also Tamil. Strategically, they are placing Tamil officers there to get that bondage going. So, a lot of things behind the scene Modi ji is doing, sir. But I found it very unfortunate. Every time it comes, Tamil politician, they talk about how did they go to Sri Lanka, where did they meet him, what food they ate, and whom did they make a phone call, whom they know in Delhi. Because if you look at their whole conversation, sir, it is always about them. It is never about Sri Lankan Tamils. Modi ji's politics and BJP Tamil Nadu politics, first time we are putting Sri Lankan Tamils in the center of our narrative. That is the biggest difference we are bringing to Tamil politics now, sir.
That is very wonderful to hear. But even as you are talking about the civilizational bondage with Sri Lanka and India, here we see our Honorable Chief Minister M.K. Stalin talking about Ondriyam, meaning India is just a mechanical union of different states coming together, kind of a contract nation. As if well planned, the same words are echoed by Rahul Gandhi outside India in Britain, telling that India is not a nation. Now, you are the president of Tamil Nadu BJP party, that is one side, and the other side, you are son of the soil. You are from Tamil Nadu. You have deep roots here. What do you feel when people talk like this as a Tamil? And then as what is?
I feel very sad as a Tamilian, maybe as Annamalais who belongs to Tamil Nadu. I feel very sad. They are not honoring the legacy of our freedom fighters over the last 250 years, the solid Tamil people from this state who has given their heart and soul and later their life to our country, sir. If I can give you a particular example. If we go to Shivagangai, Veeramangai Velu Nachiyar. We just celebrated her 250th birthday. And Veeramangai Velu Nachiyar is the only queen in the whole history where she took on the East Indian Company, won a battle, and remained as the queen for 7 more years later. Nowhere else it happened. She was before Jhansi Rani, 60 years before. But it will be very interesting if we go and ask Veeramangai Velu Nachiyar, what is her concept of a nation state? When Europe, through the Treaty of Westphalia, after a big war, when all the nations were mechanically, through Christianity, getting joined by a treaty signed somewhere, Treaty of Westphalia. But India, we never had it, sir. Even if we go to Annamalais, when Tamil Nadu was conquered, Tamil Nadu was somebody came inside trying to destroy it. There was a king from Vijayanagar who came here, and the Arasiyal Sasanam was written in Tiruvannamalai, where all the Hindu kings, including the rulers of Vijayanagar, came here and said, this is what our political proclamation is, we will fight. Again, if we go to Mamallapuram in Chennai nearby, you see an input of different kings from different parts of India. They all have come in, contributed to the current political boundary of Tamil Nadu, the current political map. If Stalin is going by the map, if he is going by a drawing, we have to understand from Veeramangai Velu Nachiyar, she never fought for this concept of nation state. She said, East India Company is dangerous anywhere. You fought everywhere, you are coming to me. I will not agree. When Jhansi Rani fought the same thing in Jhansi, when she said, your Dalhousie's annexation policy is wrong. In the letter she wrote to the Lord Dalhousie, she said you are wrong. She has quoted the Tamil kings also. It's a very beautiful letter, which in the history we don't read it. She said, look, your annexation policy was wrong. Only after 4.5 months she went for a war. Before that, she was pleading, she was arguing. If you read all the letters, she was quoting different instances of kings in India, how the next generation has come in, either by adoption and everything. Even Rani Jhansi never looked at the concept of nation state as a boundary. And when we look at maybe a person from nearby to the place you live, Vavu Chidambaram Pillai, VOC, and what did he oppose, sir? He opposed the very idea of East India Company coming inside our country, eating us economically, then ruling over us politically. That is what he objected, number one. So why did he start a Swadeshi navigation company? He allowed a ship to sail from Thoothukudi to Colombo, and where the East India Company made him bankrupt. So the Tamil history always is encompassing, all encompassing. Why did Kaniyan Poongundanar say, Yadum Ure Yavarum Keli? If you look at every single place, even in any Tamil temple we go, if you look at the inscriptions, you see a Tamil, you see a old Tamil, you see a Kannada, you see a Telugu. The same in Tirupati, where the Tamil kings have gone there. The concept of boundaries came in 1956 technically, because Nehru felt the concept of boundary based on language would be suitable. 1956 it came. Before Madras presidency was all the way till Orissa, all the way till Maharashtra. It was as big. People still lived. Where the Justice Party tried taking people from here, taking a non-Tamil PSP politician, bringing a Nair from Kerala, bringing somebody from Telugu. The Justice Party, which probably is the father party of all the political thing we are talking now, he has comfortably, conveniently forgotten the history, and which Karunanidhi himself never said it. Where Anna, when he spoke in the parliament, speak after speech, when over a point of time he reversed his stand. Now suddenly M.K. Stalin, who for 60-70 years never spoke about this, suddenly after taking over when he is speaking, I have a very clear idea, they are being operated from outside. It is not his thought, it is not his theory. This theory is planted by somebody else, which like a parrot, they are parroting. This is my theory. Because sir, I will give you an argument. In the 2021 election manifesto of DMK party, the word Madhya Arasu appears 11 times. Nowhere in the DMK election manifesto in Tamil, Ondri Arasu is used. After winning election, the day you took charge, you change yourself as belong to the Dravidian stock, what Anna spoke in the parliament. Nothing wrong, no wrong. You can say what your party's ideology. But as a chief minister repeatedly using the phrase Ondri Arasu, Union of States, a welded state, a mechanical state, and the great Rahul Gandhi parroting that in Oxford, in different world forum and making a fool of himself, I believe there is a larger design to it. But the beauty, sir, the beauty of all this nonsense is, first time a lot of young people are understanding India's history. A lot of young people ask, the current generation, the 10-year-old kid, 15-year-old kid, how did India form, uncle? 1947, what happened, uncle? Before, why did the partition happen, uncle? What this country is all about, uncle? Now, unknowingly what this people are doing is, they are trying to make the younger generation to understand the rich history of Tamil Nadu, the rich history of India through this.
Now, talking to a very more serious, more mundane topic with respect to Tamil Nadu. We have been seeing for last, at least from 1990 onwards till date, a lot of Hindu activists and BJP workers have been killed by radical elements. And we often hear in the newspapers that some of these radical elements have been arrested. And after that, everything goes off the radar. We have never seen some radical killers sentenced to any particular punishment. And this justice have never been given to the victims and the families of these victims. What is right now your feel of this particular aspect? For example, the Salem auditor, Ramesh was killed. Recently was
Chennai,
killed. In Chennai, yes, was killed. And in Coimbatore again, right from Veerasiva, a lot of people have been killed. Now all these Balidanis, they have never got justice. And what actually the party, the central government, the judiciary system, how you are pressurizing the system to give justice to these people?
Sir, what has happened, if right from a Vellayan to Auditor Ramesh Ayya, to Aravind Reddy, to all the people from Hosur to Coimbatore to Kanyakumari to different parts, every single murder is very unfortunate, and it is all targeted murder. They have targeted the next generation of leader. They want to finish off that crime, that cream, so that they don't grow the party. It is all very targeted, including Auditor Ramesh. Auditor Ramesh, if he is alive by now, he would have made Salem and the nearby areas as BJP's fort without a doubt. If Aravind Reddy is alive now in Hosur, probably the next generation tallest leader by now. But the very unfortunate part, sir, the government, different governments at different points of time has never given the seriousness to this case. The investigating officers, they never review. They never take the case to its logical conclusion, like you said, a punishment that should be given as a logical conclusion. In Salem auditor's case, Ramesh sir's case, we are fighting with the MHA to do that, remove the technicality removed in Supreme Court, because you know the police arrested wrong set of killers, they put a charge sheet. Then another case, they found the right killers, again they came back. So a lot of bungling up they have done in all the cases, including Aravind Reddy's case, they have done bungling up. So wherever possible, we support them financially. In about 6 months back, when the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister wanted to release many of these hardcore criminals outside, we went to the governor, we stopped it. We said nothing doing. They are hardened criminals. They are all communal elements. They are radicalist. You cannot release. Because their plan was to release them en masse to do that. And which is very unfortunate, sir, because the politicians sitting in power should get that national spirit to understand that there is something called radicalism. There is something called fundamentalism. There is something called an element who doesn't agree with your ideology, his only weapon is to come and kill you. So this is something that Dravidian politicians are failing to understand, which is my point of contention here, sir.
And you yourself have worked with this process of radicalization when you were in the police force. What do you think is the kind of political situation that nurtures these radical elements, number one? Number two, what is right now your perception of threat perception in Tamil Nadu? How dangerous it is, particularly given the activities of outfits like PFI, SDPA in Tamil Nadu?
Sir, one, the larger thing, Tamil Nadu, among the homegrown extremist radicalism, Tamil Nadu is possibly one of the highest in the country. That is why NA has got an office here in Tamil Nadu in Chennai. And the kind of money flow, Hawala transaction, everything, Tamil Nadu tops number one. Because the intelligence agencies over a point of time, they focus more on caste murders and caste outfits and caste leaders. They never give extra attention or maybe a more serious attention to the radical elements who are present in the soil. But somehow it's a police mindset, it's a political mindset, Because a political party, when they rule the state, they never ask the police chief, what are you doing this? Since they don't ask, the police chief is also not interested. Second, especially when DMK is in power, whenever DMK is in power, the vociferous tendencies of certain organization is always at its highest. The history has shown it. 1996 to 2001, 2006 to 11, different points of time when they were in power, we have always seen that the police treats them with kid's glove. They don't treat them with the hardened way they need to be treated. This is my second point of contention. The third, Tamil Nadu right now, you are seeing all the Gunda elements coming out in the open, openly killing somebody. Bring a weapon, don't cover your mask, butcher a person in the middle of a road, show your face to CCTV camera and walk off. Including my brother, Balachandran, who got brutally murdered a few days back, the same case. Because the rowdies nowadays, they believe they have some kind of a political support in the DMK ecosystem. They can do this. The charge sheet will be loose. Probably they will not get a conviction. And the maximum jail sentence they are looking at is 6 months, then probably bail. Coming out of bail, they will contest this case. The cases will fall flat, maybe 3-4 years in the judicial system. This is also very unfortunate, sir. Because the investigation is very shoddy. And many fellows are repeat criminals. In fact, Balachandran, who murdered him, who murdered Balachandran, he came out of jail only 3 days back. Only 3 days back, after 6 months, again for a murder, he has come out. People have become hardened, multiple criminals, and they have lost their, common fellow has lost their faith on a judicial system now. The common fellow has lost their faith on the police investigation now, which is a very, very, very serious cause of concern. And Tamil Nadu, unfortunately, is getting into that route. And this will seriously reflect the public order. It will seriously reflect on the investment climate. It will seriously affect the political process in the next 3-4 years to come.
And along with that, another one question, and then another one question that will stop. The next question is about the Lavanya case. Along with the Lavanya case, you have also highlighted, in fact, you are the, I think most probably the first prominent BJP leader to highlight this, that Omalur Suganya case. Now, if you look at it, throughout Tamil Nadu, there are a lot of such cases, underreported, reported but underreported, about abuse of children and killing of children in a particular educational institution chains. This has been happening again and again. And in the case of West, there has been huge scandal of children getting exploited in this particular denominational schools. You think that such a volcano is here in Tamil Nadu also and it needs to be exposed?
This volcano is ready to be erupted any time, sir. For me, after the Tanjavur Lavanya case, when I started digging more into some cases, including the Omalur Sukanya case and some other cases, there is some one in Kallakurichi. And I felt, for me, it was like seeing the Spotlight movie. There is this Hollywood movie called Spotlight, where the New York Times journalists have dug deep into the Christian Catholic priest abuse of children. And one fine day, they released it like a bombshell story. It was for me like that. I personally believe all religions are equal. Every religion needs to be respected equally. It is people's business, personal business to decide what religion he has to follow, how he has to follow. I have a severe problem. When one religion forces the other to go for a forced conversion. I have a severe problem, like in the Tanjavur Lavanya's case, when the state itself is party to the crime. State itself is party to the crime. The Omalur Suganya case is a classic example of how a case should not have been investigated. The IO of the case, the Salem DYSP, the Omalur in charge, gives a report to the High Court that she committed suicide. Then the case gets transferred to CBCID, again a re-postmortem. They find traces of semen. Then they say it's gang rape. Accused is said to be arrested. How is it even possible in this world? When you have a judicial system, when you have a police system, when you have all kinds of forensic tools in your hand, how can you call something as a plain suicide? I am just giving an example of one case. And there are n number of cases where murder is shown as a suicide. Case closed, not even an FIR. Stomach pain, suicide. This suicide. Not able to study, did not get good marks in 10th standard, suicide. So many FIRs you take back, you dig it, you open it, you put a commission of inquiry, you get into all these children, you are going to open a Pandora's box. In fact, Lavanya's case, when it went to Supreme Court, the Missionary Association, they were also fighting hard.
Look at the lawyers they have brought to Supreme Court. One appearance, those lawyers charge about a crore rupee. One lawyer charges about 18 lakh per appearance, 18 lakh. Those are the kind of lawyers who appear in the Supreme Court. So where is the money coming from? An MLA is kind of panicky, a DMK MLA, just runs to the jail. The accused comes out of the jail, puts a garland there only, falls at the feet. So which ecosystem are you pandering to? So that's a big ecosystem. Probably the government is just a small pawn in the ecosystem. Or probably the DMK party is slightly another part of the ecosystem. This ecosystem is large, it's brutal. And it's time that we have to get into the root of this, stop this nexus. Recently there was an expose also. How in the southern part of Tamil Nadu they are using a government Tamil school, a teacher, to convert a student into another religion. By saying your God is devil, my God is this, your God is that. And they are allowing in a plain educational institution. So you can look at the rot, how deep it has got into the system.
You have been a police officer. Recently, along with Rajiv Gandhi, some 13 innocents and police people also, they became martyrs. And today, there is a lot of clamor about one of the accused getting released. What do you feel that whether we have failed as a society in giving justice to the families and the families of the police personnel and the police personnel who lost their lives? As a society,
without a doubt, the society has failed in this case. Along with
Rajiv Gandhi ji, 17 other people lost their life on that fateful day. 8 policemen and 10 other civilians. In fact, Sri Iqbal, who was the SP of Sribadar at that point of time, he lost his life on his own birthday. And more important than the crime is the motive for the crime. Why did you commit that crime? You committed the crime because you want to kill an ex-Indian Prime Minister. Okay, fine. Why did you want to kill an ex-Indian Prime Minister? You wanted to kill that ex-Indian Prime Minister because of a decision he made as a Prime Minister of this country to take our country's interest further. This is treason. This is terrorism. This is next level of crime. When will the Tamil Nadu politicians understand this? The motive and intention of this crime is far, far higher than any other normal crime, normal convict. You release him on an Independence Day or a Republic Day, sir. Number 2. Probably this is the one classic case in India. I don't think any other case is there in India, where the criminals have tried and used all the judicial loopholes. They have tried and used all the appeal mechanisms. They have tried and used all the public officers of this country to come out. Every single place they were declared as a convict. They were declared as a criminal. They were declared as the person who committed the crime. Tada court, 1997, 1998, yes. After that an appeal court, yes. After that the Supreme Court, yes. After that every single time they wanted to go for a leniency, mercy petition, every single time the Supreme Court said you have done this crime. Now it's just a technical thing. The Supreme Court has released them using their extraordinary jurisdiction under Article 142. Extraordinary jurisdiction, which is not very commonly used. Fine, he has come out, let him live his life. But to glorify, celebrate, make him as a model and calling this as a justice of Dravidian developmental model, calling this as DMK success. What is the message Sri M.K. Stalin is giving to people around him? To the younger generation, to the kids who watch the TV, to the kids who want to become the next police officer, to the kids who want to serve the society, to the kids who want to become a public servant. What is the message is given? That is why, sir, Prime Minister Modi ji correctly said, the biggest danger of this country, of our democracy, is family-run dynastic politics, because they will do anything and everything to propagate their family, not the country. All this is done to propagate their family, to propagate their family ideology. If you are looking at country or state as a whole, would you be doing it? That is why Modi ji, moment he said it, a lot of people have attributed different meanings to what he said. Modi ji should have said it for this, because country development will get hindered. But the larger point of what Modi ji has said, sir, a family-based democracy, a family-based politics will always put family first, state second, country third. So, Perarivalan case is a classic example of what Modi ji spoke.
Right. So, the picture that you have given so far is that there is a big darkness over Tamil Nadu. When this darkness will go and when the actual light will come, when a national party will become.
Sir, I was very surprised. I was talking to a friend in the morning when the Honorable Modi ji was in Tamil Nadu 2 days back. In the Twitter hashtag, they have put welcome Modi. When I was analyzing the figures yesterday, sir, 8,42,000 people have put welcome Modi, which is historic in India. No state, no hashtag in India to welcome a politician, welcome our dear Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi ji. We have reached 8,42,000. When I asked my Twitter guys, the IT guys, I said, what is happening? They said, sir, look, every time it is 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 3.5 lakh. But this time we don't know. It is 5 lakh common people who have come in. Out of which 80% are Tamilians living in Tamil Nadu, maybe 20% Tamilians living outside. A common man, a common housewife who's in Twitter, she has put Vanakkam Modi. This I think is success, sir. In all the darkness, in all the nonsense they do, I see a ray of light. A common man for the first time is seeing a political ideology matters, a national ideology matters. Probably what Modi ji is saying is matters. First time. Till now they felt even if they have a voice, it will never get heard. In this humdrum of Tamil Nadu politics, caste-based politics, Dravidian politics, this politics, that politics, a common man felt his voice is immaterial. Let me vote for the winning party, finish my democratic duty, come to my home. Now, he is not thinking that, sir. Urban local body election was a trailer. He did not vote for a winning party. Imagine, sir, in the honeymoon period of DMK, when everybody knows DMK going to win, 9% of people voted for BJP. Historic. What is the message they are giving? I know BJP might not win. I know DMK is going to win because it is 1 year into the government. It's a local body election. But I am giving you a signal. I am listening to what the BJP is speaking. So be ready for 2024. I am giving you a trailer in 2021, 2022. This is the message I have told to the Honorable Prime Minister and to all the senior leaders also. Tamil Nadu is earning for a change. A common man, first time is coming out in the Twitter. Why the DMK IT wing is in a state of perpetual panicking? Because they believe, sir, the DMK's IT wing's first enemy is BJP IT wing. I will tell Mr. M.K. Stalin a secret today. The DMK's IT wing's enemy is not BJP IT wing. It is a common people who is doing more than what BJP is doing now. Questioning, articulating, debating. All those things, a common person is coming and doing it. He is questioning everything. Because now he knows his voice is being heard. So this is a ray of hope I see, sir. One, in the narrative sphere. Second, in the ground, people come and join the party day in and day out in the district offices, state offices. A lot of people come, youngsters. They want to come. They want to say, can I become the next president of the state? Can I become the next MLA? Can I become the next chief minister? Because they know other places it is closed. After Vaiko, his son Durai Vaiko comes. A person like Vaiko, why did he come out of DMK? Oh, family politics, Stalin is getting promoted, I'll come out. Fine. What are you doing now? Your own son you are bringing. In protest, 4 or 5 fellows have resigned, left your this thing also. Now, Durai Vaiko is coming and giving a class about democracy to us in Tamil Nadu. That is unfortunate. Look at all the parties in Tamil Nadu around you, sir. BJP is the ray of hope. Then Congress, sir, oh my God. Congress, I never spoke about it till now. If there is one party that should feel ashamed of itself in Indian history, it should be Tamil Nadu Congress. Shamelessly, one of their greatest leader, Sri Rajiv Gandhi, killed in Tamil Nadu soil in Sripadumbudur. You have went and sold your soul to Arivalayam just because you wanted that Rajya Sabha seat. Sitting outside Arivalayam every day because just to be the good books of DMK so that they will not kick you out of the alliance for 2024. Shameless, sir. Absolutely shameless. That is where Congress has gone now. Lot of people, in fact, BJP's, lot of people who join BJP right now is from Congress party. I ask everybody, they say, sir, we know Congress and BJP are on the opposite poles. We know, sir. But for the sake of national interest, I am coming to BJP. That is the friends from Congress who tell us. We ask them, why are you joining BJP? Congress has lost its character. Congress has sold its soul. And Congress is going through the path of drain. Very unfortunate in Tamil Nadu. Only BJP is occupying that national space, probably expanding that space to give a courage to a common man that his voice matters.
Okay, to end the interview, give us an year. Give us a particular year when you are going to form the government.
So I am very clear, BJP will form the government in 2026. I am not joking, sir. A lot of people ask me, 4 MLAs to 118, how is it possible, man? Somebody was asking me. I said, look, the change in Tamil Nadu will always come as a wave and not as a drop. You are looking at incremental politics, 4, 5, 7, no. Tamil Nadu, when MGR era, it came as a wave. It just came as a wave. Till MGR was alive, DMK could not even think about forming a government in Tamil Nadu. They couldn't even think. Just destroyed the Dravidian stereotype, just destroyed every single thing. Brought nationalism, brought spirituality. Every single thing, it just changed in about 60 years of cultural hegemony, it just broke in a matter of 1 year. Moment MGR said, I am coming. That is the power of emotion, sir. I believe Modi ji has got the same, if not more emotion now. Everybody is connected. And people like me, active Karyakatas on the ground, we are there to support Modi ji's legacy. I believe, sir, why DMK is in a panicky attacking me, attacking BJP daily, because their intelligence is reading the ground report well. They are after us every single day because they are seeing the change. 2024 election, sir, I can give it in writing, it is going to be 25 seats for BJP right now, because it's just going to be like a wave. But of course, the traditional DMK voters will remain with them, which will be about 10-12%. Nobody can change them. God bless them. Let Almighty save them. But other people, they have understood. 2026, 100% BJP will form a government in Tamil Nadu. And there will be a BJP chief minister sitting in Chennai. Because it is going to come like a wave and not as a drop.
Thank you very much. And taking time from your busy schedule, you have given us this wonderful interview. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Real pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.